Hi everybody. Let me see if I can find you. I'm going to pin this to the top. Let's see. Wow, that was fast. That was a good one. Let's see. Pin it to the top. There we go. Okay. Ooh. All right. No, I don't want to. Hi, everybody. Took a minute for you to get on there. Okay, I see Pat, Tina, Penny, Janet, Pam, Kim. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for joining me. Eileen and Cindy, and it says 2 other people, but it's not telling me their names. I don't want to share this in a group. I don't know why I keep saying that. Alice and Cindy, Bonnie, Marlene. Thank you guys for joining me today. Before we get started, I have a couple things I wanted to share with you. So there's a couple new things going on with Stampin' Up! In case you missed it, because sometimes I'm not the best at promoting things. Hi, Jackie. Yes, we still are enjoying the snow, but we went back to school today. Yesterday we had 2 hours delay, so today was regular. Tomorrow we have a half day. Like my very bright shirt, it is for Be the Light. Catholic Schools Week is still going on. Hi, Marlene. We have snow too, but probably not as much snow as you. As a matter of fact, Marlene, I have a team member who lives in Wisconsin as well, and she just shared a picture of the snow plows and the heavy equipment that was cleaning the snow from the highway. So you guys probably aren't that far apart. Nancy, Karen. So there is a great promotion, actually 2. Hey Chick, in case you missed it, this was a stamp set from back in 2017 Celebration. So it was so popular, they brought it back, and they now have dies, so they're really cute. So you can get the bundle for $44, the Hey Chick bundle. That's the old stamp, new dies. Or if you have the stamp, you can just buy the dies. And then the Birthday Chick, which is in the catalog, which is Hey Birthday Chick, they also have dies that go with that as well. So that is $43 for the new stamp set and the dies. And this is available through June 30th. So it is a special kind of promotion in between what's going on. I'm really bummed because I either gave away my Hey Chick or I sold it. And I'm so sad. I swear, it's got, I wonder if it's still here somewhere. I need to do a little bit more thorough of an investigation because I really don't want to buy it again, but I've seen so many cute cards that I feel like now I have to. And that brings me to point 2. There's also another promotion that's going to be coming. So this one just started for customers Tuesday. Tuesday, February 2nd, and it runs through June 30th. Demonstrators were allowed to pre-order, and I was holding off, and now I should have just bought it, so I might buy it anyway. Another thing that's coming out is Butterfly Bouquet, which is really pretty. So let me tell you the cool thing about this. I did order the 1 paper, and the reason I ordered it is a wood grain paper. It's a natural birch color and texture. It's 12 by 12. And I love wood paper. In case you've never watched me before, you know I love wood paper. So, but the other thing that's really neat, and this is going to be available for customers starting, I believe it is March 2nd. Hold on, let me just triple check. March 3rd. So, here's the thing. There is a stamp set, a die, DSP, and then this wood paper. Hi, Connie from Denmark. Thank you for joining. It's always surprises me when people from a whole nother country watch me. It just blows my mind still. The stamp set and the die, which are shown here. The stamp set and the die, it's 1 continuous stamp set of butterflies. So you stamp it once and then 1 die, and you die cut all of them. So it's easy peasy. You stamp them all, you die cut them all, and then you can color them in. It also has a coordinating paper, and then it also has the wood paper. However, the DSP and the wood paper are not carrying over, but the butterfly stamp and dies will be in the new catalog. So it's like an early release, which is pretty cool. The DSP is really, really pretty. So if you're a person who loves butterflies, it is very, very pretty. And the butterflies are very detailed. So you can purchase that now if you would want to add it to your starter kit, which is a great time to join during celebration. You get 125 for $99. You get 5 packs of DSP, which is 200 sheets of 6x6 DSP, which is pretty awesome as an extra bonus. So you could put this in your starter kit. You can put the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine if you don't have one. You could put the mini. Lots of fun stuff. 2 other things I want to mention. Speaking of paper, I do still have a paper and a ribbon share. So if anybody did not get a paper and a ribbon share, first come, first serve. If you send me that you want one to rachthestamper@gmail.com, I will send you the invoice and I can ship it out tomorrow. And then I also, for the very first time, and I'm not going to show you much because I don't want to spoil it because that's kind of the point of getting it. But I'm going to show you just a few of the things. I'll spread them out a little bit. So cards for the well-suited. I did a card class. Had very limited supplies. I sold out of that very quickly, but I still have a PDF and a video. So it's for 6 cards, the PDF, 6 cards, 6 videos, and then at the end of the 6th video, I share 5 other ideas. So it's $15. You can buy that anywhere in the world because you pay me via PayPal and then I will send it right out to you. One of them is could be either a gift card or a treat holder, and actually I did show you how to do both of them so you can interchange it, but lots of good ideas. And they're not all men cards. There's some lady cards. There's some cards that are really, really cute. And the best part is once you have the PDF and the videos, you can just make a bazillion cards because you'll know what to do. And you can change it out paper-wise and everything else. So that is my other thing. And I think that is all I have to say. I'm pretty certain. Yes. One other thing I want to show you. I got a couple really cute cards. So speaking of, I can't remember who it was now that was saying they were from Wisconsin. My team member, Suzanne, she made me this card for my birthday. Isn't it cute? Love it. And then for the 12 days giveaways, someone sent me a thank you card. Isn't this beautiful? Love this paper. And then I have one more for my very dear cousin Fran, my Stampin' cousin. Isn't this the most beautiful little card? So cute. So nice when you get Happy Mail. Every time I go to the mailbox, I'm like, oh, there's more cards here. And it's funny because I never realized how exciting it is to get mail that's not bills, because I'm not the best mailer-outer. But anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a combo. I have a little bit here. I'm going to try to make this the best I can. Hi, Colleen. We're going to do a combo between Friendly Flamingo and Heartfelt to make a Valentine's card. I know, I'm not big into Valentine's. It's not my favorite thing. I like cards, but I don't know. But it just feels like too much pressure, I think. So I have a really cute idea. I actually have multiple ideas, but I think the idea that I'm doing today is going to be so involved that I'm probably not going to be able to get more than one card in. Hi, Rose. Been a long time. How you doing? I hope you're well. Maybe it's not been a long time. I just haven't read the names, this many names in this long because I'm talking. So anyway, it's very nice to see you all. Thank you all for joining. Hi, Barbara. If you have any questions about becoming a demonstrator, that does not mean you have to sell anything. You can just buy for the discount like Costco or wherever else you may join. If you have any questions about the PDF, about Designer's paper, about life in general, shoot me an email, rachthestamper@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer it. I do try to answer all my emails usually same day, within 24 hours though, but sometimes I don't get notices as well. So email is the best way to contact me because Facebook can be a little persnickety sometimes. But anyway, I have my notes written down on what I want to do. Hopefully this is going to turn out. So I did do a little bit of die cutting because there is a few different die cuts. Suzanne, I was just talking about you. Were your ears burning? You need to meet up with, I again have forgotten her name. I just shared your card. Someone else in Wisconsin was talking about the snow. I did do a little die cutting, and I think what I'm going to do, because they're going to be 2 things that are going to be facing each other, but the die cut is the same way. So I think I figured out a way to make them look similar, even though they're a little bit different. So I'm just looking here at my notes of what I wanted to do because I got this planner. Isn't the color beautiful? And I've been trying to actually write things out of what I want to do. So I actually have a recipe of what I'm going to do for this card today. So you guys know how that usually works for me. Hopefully it's going to work out well, but I have a lot of ideas. I wrote down a lot of ideas. My next club, I'm not sure if I'm going to do snail mail or something else. But anyway, I'm going to put these here so they're in the middle. Move this drink out of the way. Have all my little pieces I'm going to pull in, and then I'm going to move my iPad and flip you guys down. So if you do get a little motion sick, which who doesn't when someone's flipping a camera, divert your eyes and I'll tell you when we're ready. Okay. Almost. Let's make sure I don't drop the phone this time. Okay, we're in. And thank you to everybody who joined me today. I really appreciate it. I love making cards live. You guys, it makes me super happy to make live cards just because I feel like I'm not crafting by myself. So we're going to do a card, and here is my premise, and then I'll get the rest of the supplies out. I did a little bit of die cutting with these little dudes here, but I didn't put anything on them. I didn't stamp them because I thought maybe we could emboss them. Sponging a little bit of that. So I have 4 of those. I did 2 of the flamingos. I know they're facing the same direction, so this is where we're going to come to our little challenge. Let's see. Suzanne said, just got him turned on. Missed your name. Oh my gosh, I saw that. It was crazy. You know, bottle and a straw of wine. Yeah, the weather has been weathery lately, hasn't it? So I have also, I die cut 2 wings. So obviously, these are, what is this? Now that I'm looking at this, is this, maybe this is for the other one. So this is going to work out well for both of these because I did that one the goofy way. So I have the flamingos, and what I'm thinking is, from my heart to yours is what I want to do with the sentiment. And I want to die cut that. So I have some white. I'm going to just call it white from now on because I can never remember to say basic white. It's your basic white cardstock. I think I'm going to do it in... I'm going to do it in Flirty Flamingo just to kind of keep something together because I know these are lighter. Those are done in Petal Pink. Is that what I did? Petal Pink? Yes, Petal Pink. So I'm going to stamp this, and I might need to be a little darker. We'll have to see. Yeah, I'm going to go with, maybe I'll do Melon Mambo. Yeah. So I'm going to re-ink this. I'm going to see if I can stamp it on top. We'll see how that works out. Okay. Might be a nice little shadow. Oh, look how perfect that turned out. It's just slightly off, so it gives it like a 3D effect. So Flirty Flamingo and then Melon Mambo. And I'm going to cut this, I think, with a stitched circle. Let's see if it'll fit the smallest. Yep, so I'm going to do the smallest stitched circle. I'm not going to do that yet. So here's the other part of what we're going to do. Let me move a few of these things over. So my plan is this. I am going to, this is the only thing I didn't get out ahead of time. I'm going to have a piece of Seaside spray. Oh, here's a base. Perfect. Yep. So Seaside spray. And just as an FYI, these colors are going to be retiring. So if there is something that you want, you should get it now. So this is already 5.5. I'm just going to score it at 4 1/4. So In Colors only last 2 years. So they will be retiring to make way for 5 new colors, which is fun, but always sad. I really loved Blueberry Bushel and Call Me Clover and all of those, so I'm still a little upset that they're gone. But just to recap, in case you were unaware, so Purple Posy was kind of a wah-wah because the ink was never right, so we really didn't get to use this as much. So I'm sure some people won't mind that this is gone. I kind of started to grow to like the Rococo Rose, which is ironic because I talked about how much I couldn't stand in the beginning, but this one. My 3 favorite colors, though, are probably Terracotta Tile, Pretty Peacock is definitely one, and Seaside Spray. So if you have the ink pads, you might want to get yourself a refill. That way you can keep it going for a while. There is still, unfortunately, there is no refill for the Purple Posy because they had an ink issue with that. But you can get the markers, you can get paper, all of that stuff that will be gone very soon. So speaking of Seaside Spray, I'm going to go ahead and this is going to kind of be like a water card. So it's supposed to look like water on the front. So I have my blending brush. Let me see, I need a scrap to make sure this is clean. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to start with Seaside Spray, and I kind of just want to bring in a little bit of shading to this. So I'm hoping this is going to turn out the way I want. And before I get started, let me see. Yes, they're going to fit because they'd be better this way. No, they're going to be crosswise. Okay. Because what we're going to do is we're going to change these around a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of sponge the edge, and I'm starting out light. You can always add, but you can't take away. So I'm starting light with the Seaside Spray. I'll probably bring in maybe some Misty Moonlight. So I'm just kind of going over the whole thing with the blender brush. Now, if you were here in person, it kind of looks like a little bit of Versamark with this. It's not too dark. And I'm wondering if you can look, you can kind of tell the difference between the two. This is a little bit, it kind of looks a little bit more wet. So I'm going to go a little bit darker. I'm going to try to bring in some Misty Moonlight. Now, again, since I'm going from a lighter to a darker, I'm okay with doing this on my brush. But what you can do in the meantime is just rub your brush until you don't see any ink, which there's not very much on there. So bring in a little bit of Misty Moonlight. And just to make sure it's not too dark. Yeah, because it's definitely darker. I'm going to kind of just start off. And I almost want it to be like a, if you're into photography at all, like a focus, like it's coming into focus. So kind of everything around it is like a bokeh. And in the middle is kind of focused. I am going to do a little bit darker at the bottom because it's going to be more like standing in water. And I might even bring in a little bit of Night of Navy. All right, so a little bit more here. And I am going to bring in a little bit of Night of Navy. All right. So I'm going to try to keep this more so at the bottom. All right, I think that's pretty good. I don't want to do too much because I feel like I'm going to get carried away. And just as an FYI, I did have a plan for the card I want to do, but I was not planning on doing this with the blender brushes. So I guess I am doing something a little bit off the cuff. All right, let me flip this over. So now, the grand plan of this is that I want these two flamingos. And I was thinking I might bring in a piece of DSP, but now I don't know. I want them to face each other. Okay, and then we're going to have From My Heart to Yours. However, you can tell this one has a cut. So the die cut faces this direction. So what I thought I would do to both of them to kind of make it equal is to run them through an embossing machine. So an embossing folder, not a machine. So I thought what I could do is, depending on the amount of texture, the Tasteful Textile would be kind of pretty. So maybe I could do the wings with this. And I'll make sure I have one wing. This one doesn't matter because it's opposite, so this kind of works. So I'm going to keep them so they'll be directional. So one will be for this one for that. And then I want to do the same thing with the flamingos, but I'm going to do them with the subtle folder. So I'm just going to pop both of them in here. I'm going to actually make sure I do them standing up. All right, so, and we'll see what this turns out like. So one of these, as you can see, just says Stampin' Up! It does not have Sizzix on it anywhere. So this one is going to just use the blue plate. This one is going to go through the old way because it has Sizzix, okay? So let me show you what I mean. Let me move this out of the way for just a second now that I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. And then I will die cut that as well. So when you're using the new, we'll say newer folders, and again, I still have my Big Shot, we're going to put this in. So this is the fold. We're going to run this through. All right, and that should give our wings some texture and kind of hide that line lumpy. So you can see it does look really pretty. So there's one. But when I do this one, because this still has Sizzix on it, it has to be run through with a little bit different of a sandwich. So just making sure they're straight. So I'm going to take this platform off. And nope, I'm going to keep this one on because the other one's magnetic and I don't want that. So I just have this and one plate. And then I'm going to run this through. Okay. So this one did get a little crooked, but that's okay. So then you can see, and I don't know if you can see, I'm hoping you can see, they both have a lot of texture and they kind of lost that cut line. So you can't really tell that one was embossed one way and one was the other. So that's good. Now, before I move on, I'm just going to die cut this sentiment real quick. And where'd you go? Here it is. So this one I'm just going to do with the smallest stitched circle. And I was just kind of trying to keep it simple, because you could definitely use any other die cut that you wanted to. You could use something fancy. You can even do it with a heart punch, but I kind of wanted it to be like an understated kind of a thing, since the rest of it has a lot of something to it. All right, so I feel like we're definitely still going to need something though, because just this in the middle, I don't really know how that's going to go. I think it needs a little extra of something. Maybe if I layer, and I don't know if it'll be too big, but maybe if I layer a, I could do it on a heart, but just to be safe, I'm going to cut out the next sized stitch circle. I'm going to cut out, I'm going to do Mambo. Since that's the ink I use, Melon Mambo. Just have a little scrap piece here, I'm sure. I tell you what, man, it is so dry here. I have a really badly busted cuticle. Actually, I have one on my finger and one on my thumb. And man, why is it that every single time when you hurt yourself, it's like that is always the finger that you hit? No matter what you do or how you try to avoid it. I mean, I even have trouble when I'm pulling up my jeans because the jean is hitting it. So I'm going to do this just in case. We might replace that with a heart. Maybe one of the hearts from that heartfelt bundle, because there's two different punches. So we'll see where we're going to go with that. All right, so I'm going to put this on the side. And we're going to kind of like lay this out and see what we have. So this will be here. Oh, you know what I should have done? This. The pearlized paper. Maybe I'll put a piece of this behind there. That might be something to make it a little fancy. So I have my two flamingos. They still need eyes. I have the two wings. And they definitely need eyes. So I'm just going to grab my Stampin' Right black marker and just give them a little eye. Could probably even, I think we have those matte dots, but I don't think they're quite small enough for it. So the other thing I wanted to add was a little bit of water, because they can't just be standing in nothing. So let me, see, I have all my die cuts there. They need to make it into a folder. That way they won't be everywhere. So I have the water. And kind of do that like down here where we have them standing like that. Oh, that should be plenty of room. So I'm going to do that in a dark color. So that's probably going to be in Night of Navy, I think would be good. Actually, Misty Moonlight might not be bad either, but we'll put that in. And the other thing I saw somewhere is that somebody stamped these little grasses. And this could be a little excessive. So if you don't feel like doing this, you don't have to. Remember that. I already die cut the little whatever they are, vines. I die cut those in Just Jade, so I'm just going to stamp this in Just Jade. And I'm going to do 3 just in case. I'm not even saying I'm going to die cut them, but we're going to see. I might use them. And let me start with Misty Moonlight, and then I can always go to Night of Navy. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball where I want these guys to be. And then I'm going to ink up my Misty Moonlight. I'm just going to kind of pop this up just a little bit. All right, so let's see if this one's here. And looks pretty good. This one's here. All right, so we have those 2. And have you guys ever heard flamingos? When we go to the zoo, they are the craziest sounding bird. Though them and peacocks, they really are just crazy. So I'm just going to liquid glue onto this wing and just add this on. Oh, come on. I just used you. A little crazy to get to. Crazy. Here it comes. Oh, Lord. Sorry. Me and my glue problem. So I'm just going to glue this on. I'm going to do one more thing because I want to sponge these just a little bit. Just to give them a little bit of depth. You could always go a little crazy and color the feet, stuff like that. But I'm just going to just sponge them just a little bit. And I think just so it's not too dark, I'm just going to do it with Flirty Flamingo. How appropriate, right? All right, so just a little sponging, kind of on the back. A little bit on the head, the beak. If you really have I don't even want to say a steady hand, because that's definitely not even what I mean. If you have the nerve to do it, you could even draw in a little beak line, and I think I might. Just with my pen tip of the Stampin' Right marker. So I'm kind of just getting it around the edge, but then a little bit of it is picking up on this embossed parts. So kind of give a little bit of something to it. There we go. And I'm sure male and female flamingos probably do look a little bit different, but not on this show, they don't. All right, so I'm going to just go in with a little bit of a beak line. You don't have to add that if you don't want to, but I'm going to. Kind of even add a little bit of black at the tip, because I know they're a little bit, they have a little bit of a darker, at the end of their beak, they are a little bit darker. So, all right, so let's look. We have this. We have this. We have From My Heart to Yours. We have also the vines, which what I'm going to do is, just for a little bit of something, and you guys might think I'm crazy for this, but I'm going to crinkle these up a little bit. You probably could also run these through your embossing machine. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go. Let's see. I'm going to attempt not to rip it, because sometimes I do get a little crazy. That way they have a little bit of just something to them. So that way everything here has a little bit of something. Okay. All right. You could sponge these. You could hit them a little bit with your Stampin' Right markers or your Stampin' Blends, but I find that it's just giving them a little bit of a more of a natural curve. Oh, that's okay, Mary Beth. No late charges here. You're right on time. Thank you for joining. Hi, Deborah. Hope you're doing well. All right. Okay, so we have these, and I don't really know what I'm going to do with these. Do I want them to hang? I don't really know. I'm not really sure yet, because at this point, I'm just still not really 100% sure. All right, so I don't even know if I want to do this or if I want to have it in a heart. I think this kind of looks nice for what I'm going for, but I'm still not 100% settled. So what I'm going to do is, in the meantime, I'm just going to fussy cut these little guys out. Not going to be extremely fussy. I'm going to just do the best I can to kind of try to keep them somewhat on a, just for like a little edge detail for the bottom. So if anyone already has this stamp set, they also have a lot of really pretty ideas on Pinterest if you haven't checked it out. I love Pinterest because whenever you get stumped for something and you don't really know exactly what it is you want to do, Pinterest is a great way to go because it helps you find the inspiration that you had when you picked the stamp set, but maybe you just can't remember why it was that you bought it. I love flamingos, but I love this stamp set just because it reminds me anything that's like a flamingo and some sort of a tropical thing, kind of like the other, oh my goodness, I can't think what it's called. Tranquil something, whatever the other stamp set is that I haven't used that has the square in it. That stuff always reminds me of the Golden Girls, and it reminds me of growing up with my grandparents, and it just automatically makes me feel a little bit better because I spent a lot of time with my grandparents because both of my parents worked. So I was very fortunate that I got to hang out with them. So we used to always watch Golden Girls and Empty Nest at the same time. I do want to add a little bit of color to this, so I'm going to add a little bit of green kind of in the background just to fill in a little bit with the soft seafoam. It's not a lot. This is a very, very light color if you've never used it before. It's kind of just taking a little bit of that harsh white away. Okay. And then, since it's water, I'm also going to add a little bit of the Seaside Spray kind of to the bottom part here. So it kind of blends just a little bit better. Just to the very, very, very bottom where you have those water ripples. Nothing fancy. Just a little bit. And if you want to, since you have this out, just it'll blend with the water a little bit. You can kind of trace around the edge with your marker. Like that. And it'll kind of take the harsh white edge, even though we sponged it from where we fussy cut. And I saw a really neat idea that I had never thought of before. But just talking about in general shaker cards. Do you guys like to make shaker cards? I like making shaker cards if you have something that already kind of shakes in them, like a confetti or something like that, as opposed to like small pieces like this that you would die cut. But I saw a really cool idea, and I don't know why I'd never thought of it, of using vellum instead of the window sheet because it gives it like a soft muted look. I thought it was a really, really, really cool idea. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these down in a few places, but I'm going to leave them up. And I almost feel like these are a little bit too long, so I'm going to kind of trim them. So not quite as pointy of a vine. I'm kind of just trimming them off just a smidge. None of them are going to match. Just to take away a little bit of this stem-like thing. I don't know. I guess if they were growing up, they would be like that. But to me, if they're hanging like a vine, which is what I want to do with them, they're not going to have those tight ends. Or straight ends, I suppose. I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe you know what I'm saying. I'm not sure if I know what I'm saying. And then these, I'm going to actually pop these up on dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of them. That way when I lay this all down, it'll kind of hopefully make a little bit more sense. So I'm going to put 3 on each body. And then I'm going to put a couple pieces. I'm going to put some on the feet and some on the head. So I have these little edge pieces here that you could use just as easily as you could use the minis. And kind of, sometimes I have a hard time using the minis. Let's see, this. Kind of turn that one. Yeah, that showed a little bit, but that's okay. And then I'm going to put a little bit of something down on the feet. Also, I don't know if I have any 80s fans on here, but I just was watching the Punky Brewster what do you call it? Advertisement. I don't know what they call them on the internet. Preview, sneak peek. And it looks really cute, but I don't know. Is Peacock something you have to pay for? Does anybody have Peacock that they know? Because I'm not going to pay for something else. But darn, that was such a good show. And Soleil Moon Frye looks absolutely amazing. She looks just like she always did. Little stinker. All right. So I'm going to put these down with mini glue dots because I think it'll be easiest to kind of adhere a couple spots. So I'm just going to kind of pick a couple areas that seem like they're flatter. And maybe one more down here at the bottom. All right, so I'm going to kind of just pick, and I might have to trim some of this off. We'll kind of see as it goes. I don't know if I got all those places or not. You can get some shows free. Okay, thanks, Cindy. I didn't know that. I know with some things you can. I'm sure Punky Brewster is probably going to be such an 80s hit that, you know, that'll be one of the ones where you have to pay for. Kind of the same with, like, when Apple TV picked up Charlie Brown, which was... Still don't know how I feel about that. Luckily, I have all the Charlie Brown DVDs because I am a nerdy child like that. I like to be prepared to watch it at any given moment. Alright, there's one. And I think I'm going to try to overlap. Maybe I should make something go across the top. Like they're in the jungle. What do you guys think? Think that would be... Is it too much? Maybe I need to cut one more and have it kind of going across. Give me your thoughts. You have Peacock on your tablet. Well, that's good to know. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you for joining. I'm going to die cut one just in case you guys think it's a good idea. So I'm just going to grab one more piece of Just Jade, and that is this die here. So I'm just going to do one more. One thing I've noticed is that it's finally a little bit lighter later, which is exciting. I'm ready for not having darkness at night. No, I got no from Judy and no from Marlene. Okay, no problem then. I'm right there with you. No worries. Your wish is my command. I kind of like the, I don't know, should I have this other one then? Should I bring in so it's even Stevens on both sides? I don't know. Do you guys like it so it's matchy-matchy? Kathleen, you just got the set. Well, now you have at least one idea. You still wear mismatched stuff. I love that, Denise. That is so cool. Too much. Perfect, Amy. I'm right there with you. That's why I like doing these things with everybody, because that way you can tell me what you think. So it's a little bit delayed with this little dude over here. So I'm going to give you a second. I'm saying yes. It looks like a yes. So I think I'm going to add in this other one. And do this. I feel like I should have some facts like flamingos mate for life, but I don't know any of that, so I'm not going to fib. And I'm going to just take and trim these down just a smidge and try to make them so they're not exactly the same. And those are short enough, just like they are. All right, so we have this. We have our flamingos in their little puddles standing there. I might need to add some additional dimensionals. We'll have to see how that goes. And then I have my little things down here at the bottom, which we could add in. And I don't know if I'm going to add them because I'm not sure that I'm loving them. So I'm going to go ahead and do these in the meantime. Key West. I've been to that butterfly sanctuary, Glenda. How are you doing, Glenda? I'm glad to hear from you. I have been there, as a matter of fact. That's beautiful. Granted, it's been quite a while ago, but it was really, really cool. So I'm going to pop this guy in here. Let's say guy or gal, whichever one it is. I know penguins mate for life, but we don't have a penguin stamp set that's realistic. We do have the little cute, what was it, Frozen Buddies? Frozen. I think that just retired, though, for now. Might be for come back with the other catalog. All right, so this one, I kind of put them so one looks taller than the other one. So we're going to go with that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my, what is it, Petal Pink. Just because I feel like I should have done this ahead of time. So you might not want to do this while it's on here. But I want to add just a little bit more color to the beak. Just to give a little depth to it. So it's not quite so cartoony. If that makes sense. So I'm just kind of taking my marker and just adding in a little bit of, I don't know if you would call this high or low lighting, a little bit of color, one way or the other. Petal Pink is a fairly light color, so you can feel pretty confident that if you add it, it's not really going to make or break your card in any way. All right, so there's that. And I'm kind of just liking just this. Maybe we add a little piece of grass to here, and I can pop this up on a dimensional. I don't know. I'm going to go with this. We're going to see. And also, I am going to, I'm still planning on being live on Saturday. Saturday will probably be on YouTube. So I'm just going to pop this up here. I can always stick this bad boy in here to kind of bring it together, but I don't know if we need that. And maybe this just needs to come up a little bit higher on a dimensional. All right. So once again, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait for input. In the meantime, I'm going to grab out a Whisper White or whatever, white, Rachel, a white panel for the inside because I do want to finish that at least a little bit. So markers or blends, you love it. Flamingos can be totally white depending on their dye. 100%, Denise. Yes, I did know that because most flamingos aren't pink. They're usually kind of like that dirty white with shades of pink-ish. But again, depending on where they were. The ones that are at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore are that color anyway, needless to say. So for my heart to yours, I'm not going to say Happy Valentine's Day. I think I'm going to go with Hope your day is as amazing as you are. Because you can always handwrite Happy Valentine's Day or draw some hearts in there or something or other. So I'm going to stick with this for a minute. I'm going to see what you guys think. I'm going to go ahead and add my sentiment in with the Melon Mambo. And I just had an idea. I don't know what we're going to think of this, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to take the little watermark thing. So it's going to be like our words are hovering in water. And I'm going to stamp this on the inside and then add the words. I don't know. Sometimes I think things like that are kind of cute. All right, so there are our watermarks. Okay. Oh, it turned out cute. Look how cute that is. It's adorable. I love it. And might as well, while we're here, I'll add one more little thing. Where's my Just Jade? Just add a little. You know what the thing about this is? This should be green and water. So I'm actually going to do it with the markers instead. Just had a thought on that. Since I'm going to all this effort on the inside, I'm just going to do the water with the Misty and the little water grass, seaweed. I don't know what we want to call it. I'm going to do one more over here. Sometimes with these kind of stamp sets as well, I'm going to just be 100% honest with you. I have such high hopes and they never live up to my standards. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I just really have a hard time. So are we liking the sentiment? Okay, you guys all like the water. I think the watermark is really cute. The flamingos in your area are pink. I'm just going to tell you, I'm jealous that you have flamingos in your area. So lucky you. I hope you are out enjoying the beautiful You probably also have palm trees and sunshine. And I do love winter when there's snow, but I just get to a point where I'm kind of like, I'm done. I'm ready for it to be warm. That way I can go outside. All right, so there's that. Looks really cute. And I think we're just going to add this. I don't know. I feel like I might want to just put it down instead of popping it like up on top of them. I think I spaced it out enough. What do you guys think? Do you think it looks kind of good hidden in there instead of being like on top covering them? I kind of like it hidden. I'm going to go with hidden, and I'm going to hope you agree. And again, I try to keep this kind of with a slightly similar color scheme. So I have just the jade and then the blues. And then the little pinks, which I think were kind of nice with having the contrasted pinks. And remember, we just flipped this over. It's the same die cut, and he's just standing a little bit taller and just embossed it. I have a little piece of a dimensional here that's showing, but otherwise I think it looks pretty cute. So, and I gotta say, I do really like the inside. The inside is very much clean and about 10 years older than the front is. Oh my goodness. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, it's beautiful in California today. Oh, you lucky. Oh, Amy, I'm so sorry. That is just 100% awful. My heart, it goes with you. My mom died of cancer. 14. It's going to be 5 years next Friday. So I totally understand, and I feel your pain, and it stinks. So I will be praying for you and for your mom for some peace. I am really sorry. I'm glad this at least lifted your spirits for a moment. Oh, what a thing. I'm so sorry. I love you, Amy. My heart goes out to you. Well, one other thing, just to bring this back to some cuteness to distract Amy. You could always also use the little tiny flamingos if you want, because there are 2 different ones in this die. So I'll show you. I use the cutout, which if you do use this one, we could have also stamped it, so we wouldn't have to do all that adding. So I'm going to just show you what that looks like in case you were to want to do it. And then the other one is the little tiny one, and this one, now that I look at it, you know why? Because there's 2 different wings. Rach, geez a whiz. So there's a wing that has some detail, and then there's a plain wing. Lord have mercy. You know what? I know I pay to get my hair done, but I really am still 100% blonde sometimes. That is all I'm going to say. So I'm going to stamp this once. Let me do it in, I'm going to do it in Flirty Flamingo. And we're just going to add a little bit of black. Or not black. I'm going to add gray in a couple spots. And then I'll show you what this looks like. So if you wanted to, you could do this one as well. So just basic gray. So I'm going to just kind of grab a little bit down here at the beak. A little bit at the feet. Maybe a little bit on these elbows. Okay. This might look like, what is that little dog? Spanky and the Gang's dog, because it's going to have a little ring around its eye. So I'm going to huff and stamp. Okay, we'll see what this one looks like. Hidden. Tuck it in. See? Look, we all think so alike. We need to be crafting together. Yeah, there are 2 different flamingos. Now you know. Okay, so his eye, he does have a little bit of too much of a black eye, but you know what? That's okay. That was the first time. So I'm going to cut this one out just so you can see. And then I'll hold the other one up so you can see the size difference. Whoops, hold on. So if you wanted to, what you would do though, here's the one thing. So here is what this one looks like. It is absolutely adorably cute. So it looks really cute like this too. Now, obviously you'd say, well, Rach, but then you wouldn't be able to get one this way. But you can, and what you can do is you could do this actually 2 ways. So I'm just going to show you, just because I love you guys and I really want to stamp longer, but I don't have that much time, but I'm going to do it anyway. So what you would do is, let me grab that. Oh, that piece of paper is dead. Let me grab another piece of paper. Now I'm going to make this one darker because sometimes the transfer doesn't work out exactly the same. So I'm going to make this one in melon. Okay. And I'm going to add just a teeny bit of gray to the beak. I'm going to skip the eyeballs this time. Okay. So what you do is you got to make sure this is clean. So this is your silicone mat. Okay, so you stamp it here. And then you flip it and you stamp it. The only thing is with this though, you're going to get the cut lines unless you do emboss it like we did. So I'm just kind of running my finger over it. Okay, but, and I know what you're going to say now, but Rach, the die doesn't go that way. But what you do is you line it up from the back. Now you're going to have to hold this up to a light. So pardon me for a minute. I hold this up. Okay, so I'm going to show you. So I have this on the back. It is lined up exactly like it's supposed to be. So I'm going to grab a piece of tape and just tape it. Just triple check that. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to die cut this and I'll be right back. I'm going to show you. And just to keep it easy, I'm die cutting it with the die in the back, face up. That way I don't flip it and mess it up. All right, so let me show you. So looky here. Here's our die cut. And it does have the little ridge line because of the way it cuts. It does cut a little bit opposite. So what you could do is you could either run this through with some sort of an embossing folder, or you can just take your bone folder. Be gentle because you do have this crook of the neck here. And kind of just give it a little pressing. The other thing you could do too is you could run this through your embossing machine, just like in between a piece of paper, and it does kind of flatten it out a little bit. But there's a little trick on how to stamp reverse images. That's another thing I wasn't planning on giving you. So see, this kind of worked out well. I had a plan, but I diverted from the plan to share a little something with you. So then you could have these two flamingos instead. So if you wanted them to be a little bit more not cartoon and birdie-like like mine, you could pop these on. You could still pop them on top there if you wanted to. And then you could do the die cut with the texture on the wings there, or you could do the regular one. So hope that gave you some tips. And then the size between these two is definitely different. So you could do the same thing with this. You cut it and flip it over, and then I would just say run it through an embossing folder if you want to get rid of the line edges. But hopefully that gives you guys at least a little bit of tip of how to do some reverse die cutting, how to still be able to cut it out with the die. I don't know, something. I hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have. I really do love stamping with you all. It makes my heart happy. I love that inside. It looks really pretty too. So there you go. And I have seen flamingos. I think they even do this with their necks. So you could even get so far as to do a little tangle of the neck, and then from my heart to yours would be cute. You could do that with this one too. I'm pretty sure you can. I have to clean that one off, but I don't have a second one of those. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, especially if this gets to be on the YouTube replay and you're watching it, make sure you give me a thumbs up. There's not really a whole lot you can do on Facebook except for sharing, which I absolutely certainly do appreciate. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you can give me a thumbs up. You can click subscribe. And if you're there, you might as well turn on the notifications. That way you'll find out when I make new videos. I will see you all, barring any insane incidents, on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have no idea what I'm going to do yet. Maybe I'll do one of the other ideas that I had here that I just hadn't gotten to yet. And if you have any questions about the paper share that I still have left, or the well-suited, that is again 6 cards plus 4 extra ideas. So 6 videos plus 4 bonus card inspiration ideas. There is a great video and PDF. It is available no matter what country you're in, because you're not actually getting any physical product. It's just videos and PDFs via an email once you pay the link. But if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message, send me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. If you would like to get any of these supplies, I would love for you to shop in my online store. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you can find me at rachthestamper.stampinup.net, and you will find all the measurements and products I've used after the fact if you happen to miss it on my blog, which if you're new is rachthestamper.com. I want to thank you guys so much for taking your time to join me today. I hope that you have found a little bit of sunshine if your day is a little bit stinky. And again, my prayers go out to you, Amy, and your mom. And I pray for some peace for both of you. And just know that my heart is with you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and a happy Friday. And I'll talk to you again real soon. Thank you so much for watching.